Good morning and welcome to the Workplace Opportunity Week that is part of the Meet Your Future campaign. This week we will have a series of 23 events that will give young people, parents, carers and teachers the opportunity to develop their knowledge and understanding relating to careers and industry and skills. This morning we'll be looking at manufacturing at a glance, and over the next 15 minutes we will have Heather Middlehurst from Stateside Foods in Bolton giving you information on manufacturing and what a day in the manufacturing industry looks like. Heather, over to you.
Okay, so do you want to go on to the next slide? So I'm Heather, by the way, so hi. Coming to you live from the office. So we are all classed as key workers. So this is the nice thing about food manufacturing in particular, that we all can still come to work. So this is great. Can get the chance to talk to you guys. So next. Are we moving on? I'm not seeing the slides change. Okay, just give us a second because we're trying to move the slides along. Okay, I'll give you a bit of background information about Stateside while we're waiting. So Stateside Foods, we are based in Bolton. We employ just over 1,000 people. And we have 2 factories on our site, and we make purely supermarket own brand pizzas. We make 3 million pizzas a week, so it's quite a lot of pizzas. But it's not all just about the sort of, there's people putting pepperoni on a pizza, but there's an awful lot more to it. We've got lots of careers that I'm going to talk to you about today. Hopefully we can get some. Here we go. We look like we've got the slides coming on. So if we move on to the next one. Okay, so starting with then, what is manufacturing? So it's the making of articles on a large scale using machinery. So yeah, it's actually producing something. So some businesses are service business, but manufacturing is actually producing a product that you can sell. So it's really exciting thing to be in, because you can actually see the product going out of your factories and into the shop. So it's a good place to be. So next. And next. So as I said, we have production facilities in Bolton, covering 65,000 square metres. So it is a big site, and we do operate 24/7. And as I said, we make 3 million pizzas each week and employ over 1,000 people here at Bolton. So everything is based here. And we are owned by a Freiberger Group, which is a German company that also deal with chilled food. So next. So basically a little bit about me and what I do. I'm in charge of corporate social responsibility at Stateside Foods. Now it's a little bit complicated and it covers a whole host of different things. So what I do in the day, I deal with all kinds of things, but our main focus is on sort of people, the products, the environment and community. So corporate social responsibility is about being a good employer, about being a responsible employer. It's not just about sort of producing pizzas. We need to be looking after the environment and making sure we're looking after our people and developing them. Also that the products we're producing are good quality and that they're safe. And also a lot of what I do is things like this. So talking to people in school. So with the community side, it's the educational support, community projects, working with charities. So that's a lot of what I do. And then on the learning and development side, which I'm also in charge of, so that's training all of our people, making sure that they are getting the qualifications they need to be able to do the job well and giving them the skills to do the job well. So yeah, and then I produce a report on all of those 4 areas. So that's sort of my job in a small sort of neat nutshell. If we go on to the next slide, you'll sort of see my responsibilities day to day. So under corporate social responsibility, so I am the contact for community events, so things like the Bolton Food Festival. I'm in charge of putting that event on for Stateside. Some of you may have seen us there giving out free samples of pizza. And then sort of the reporting on our social and environmental impact. So the things we do well, the things we might not do so well, we're very honest about how we operate. Again, the school careers contact, so things like this, coming into schools and doing talks like this. I look after inclusion and diversity and make sure everybody feels like they belong and they all have something to offer, and that everybody's comfortable coming to work being themselves. Employee engagement, which is about sort of making sure everybody's happy and feeling engaged and feeling like they're contributing to something worthwhile. I look after employee benefits, so things like the free gym membership that we offer. So it's not just about coming to work, we have to make sure all our people have good work-life balance. As I said, event management like the food festival, employee mental health and wellbeing. We've done a lot of work recently on mental health, and I've been responsible for training that out. In the current situation, I think it's very important to make sure that people are coping and they can cope with the normal pressures. And then I'm also responsible for giving out the website, for populating the website with news and sending out the newsletter. So anything that's sort of urgent that needs to be communicated quickly, I send out the newsletter. And also I have my budget, so that's how much money I'm allowed to spend doing all of those things. And then under L&D, which is learning and development, so I manage sort of the employee training and development, and also the apprenticeship programme, which is quite good, and why I like talking to you guys, because I'm the person that recruits the apprentices through things like the assessment centres, which I'll talk to you a little bit about in a short while. But things like assessment centres are sort of where you get together in groups. It's a bit like an interview, but you do group activities, and we sort of assess you from watching you in those events, and we can sort of employ you based on how well you perform in those assessment centres. But we do a lot of coaching and mentoring, and I do look after, as I say, the 30 plus apprentices. So next, a little bit about me. So I have been here for 14 years. I'll whiz through this because I feel I've got more important things to do than talk about myself, but sort of my route to where I am now, I actually started in a bank. But then when I joined Stateside, I started on reception and in the accounts department. And while I was here, I qualified and did my ACCA. So I am now a chartered accountant, and they very kindly supported me in doing that and paid for it. So that was very nice of them. But as I say, they do support the staff. And then I moved into corporate social responsibility because it was something I enjoyed. And then also, again, with learning and development was something I enjoyed, and then sort of moved in and took that on as well. And I'm currently studying CIPD, which is about people development again. So yeah, so you can see a couple of skills there that I apply that are just basic sort of transferable skills. So next. So this is just an overview of a business like Stateside. So this is our business basically, and as you can see, there's 26 different departments. So if you're thinking, I don't want to work in a food factory because I like IT, or I want to go into finance, or maybe you like sort of design, there's lots of opportunity for you to do those things in a manufacturing business like ours. As you can see, it's not all about putting pepperoni on a pizza. There's lots of things that go on. If you think about the food manufacturing industry, 1 in 9 jobs are in the food and drink industry, starting from sort of your farmer right through to your online delivery. There's all kinds of things that are going on, and as you can see, there's plenty of opportunities there. So next. So just a few of sort of the careers, so you get a full understanding of what's available in a business like this. So you have your production roles, which obviously are more geared to actually producing the product that you are making. So you have your operatives that would be on the shop floor and working all the machinery. There is a lot of machinery, but there are lots of people that sort of run that machinery. You've got your line managers, which then move into team leaders, and then you move on to your shift manager, and then your department managers, and then things like operation directors. So there are plenty of places for progression that you can move through. And then there's support services, so sort of your new product development, where they actually design the pizzas and decide which ingredients are going to go onto those pizzas. So if you see things with sort of a truffle oil sachet, someone in that office has said, you know what, that'd be a nice thing to put on there with a piece of pastrami. Could be anything, so it just depends on what the customer wants. Process and packaging, so they look at the packaging materials and make sure we're not using sort of, at the moment the big thing is cutting down on plastic, obviously. And then you've got your quality department who check that everything's sort of legal and it's safe and that we are following all the guidelines by the government. You've got your commercial department that deal with all the sales of the pizzas, purchasing department that deal with buying in all the ingredients to go onto the pizzas and the packaging materials. You've got planning and procurement who sort of, they decide what's going to be made when to meet the customer demand. So when the customer orders, they need to make sure that we make enough pizzas of a particular kind on a certain day to get those orders out. Finance and controlling, obviously they're controlling the cost and paying the bills. So when we buy, we are one of, I think as a group, we are the largest purchaser of mozzarella. So the finance department are responsible for paying for that mozzarella. We've got the IT department that sort of helped me with things like this morning. So I had a small hiccup before we started, but fortunately we've got an IT department on hand that know all the digital skills that I don't know. Human resources who look after our people. And then you sort of learning development, which is my area, and CSR, which I've told you about. Health and safety, obviously keeping everyone safe. And then continuous improvement is looking how we can improve efficiency. So they basically just look at constantly how we can make things better, which is really important. So there's all sorts of jobs that you can actually have within manufacturing. So it is really interesting. And the nice thing about our industry, it's very fast as well, because it's sort of our product in particular has quite a short shelf life. So it's quite exciting. Everything's very sort of frantic sometimes, but it is good fun and it is exciting. So next. So we do offer apprenticeships in sort of business and in engineering. As you can see, we do those alongside Waterside Training, Manchester Metropolitan University and UCLan we do the engineering with. So there are opportunities there to develop and get your degree. It's paid for, obviously, because it's funded by the company, which is a great option because you're also earning while you're learning your degree. And you have the job at the end of that, which is a really good opportunity. So next. So employability skills are skills that we look for. These are transferable skills that we look for in a new person joining our team. So things like communication, leadership, analytical skills, teamwork, creative skills. There's all kinds of things there that, you know, they're not specific. I need to know about a particular topic. They are skills that you can apply to all kinds of things. So they're the kind of things we look for. Can someone work well in a team? So next. So how to succeed in an assessment centre, which is sort of like the large scale interview that I talked about before. So show an interest and get involved, listen well to instructions and ask lots of questions. When I say put yourself out there, make sure you put yourself forward. If someone says, you know, who wants to do the presenting for the group, you know, volunteer for that. Stand up for yourself as well. If there's something you don't agree with, challenge it, but also be considerate of other people. Make sure you're actually taking other people's feelings into consideration. So it's all right fighting your corner, but do it politely, and just generally be a team player. They're all the things that we look for in an assessment centre. And so my top tips: don't worry too much if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up. So it does change. I still decide I want to be something else on days. Don't think your education will be over when you leave school or college, because you've always got something to learn. I'm still learning now. Don't worry about what your friends are doing. It's not about them. We all have different sort of days and journeys. So don't panic. There's no right or wrong. You just be you. Grab every opportunity you can, because you take one opportunity, they very often lead on to more. And don't fear failure, because you learn more from failure than you do from success. And stay positive, focus on what you can do and not what you can't, and especially during this lockdown is all I would say. That's it from me. Thank you. Over to you, Jane.
Thanks, Heather, that was brilliant. That concludes our session this morning. Hopefully you will be joining us for more throughout Meet Your Future's Workplace Opportunity Week. But if you do have any questions or you'd like to look at more careers and apprenticeship information, we have our GMAX site, which is www.gmax.co.uk. Thanks and have a good day.